Hello, Algebra 2 students. This is Mr. Myers, and I am recording the Screencastify for question 5 on the Algebra 2 Topic 1 review. So, as we were talking about today, we have the problem where we have one side of an arena. There are 50 seats in the first row, and each row after that has 6 chairs more than the previous row, and there are 30 total rows. How many chairs are on that side of the arena? So remember, the first thing we have to do is identify some information. First of all, we need to identify our A1. The A1 is the first row of chairs. That's 50. Now, first period, when I did this problem for you, I accidentally used 6 in the first row. Now, the number that we got was correct for a first row of 6 chairs, but the problem said the first row had 50 chairs. So even though the numbers were correct for the problem we solved, the numbers were incorrect for the problem that is shown here. Okay, so our A1 is 50. And I put A in there, I should put A1. Now, we need to know how many chairs are in the 30th row. So we need to know A30. To find that, we use the explicit formula. And this is important. You need to use the explicit formula. I showed you the recursive. I showed you the explicit. We want the explicit. Remember, the recursive will give you the next number in the sequence. The explicit formula will give you any term in the sequence as long as you know A1. So the explicit formula is AN, the number we're looking for, the term we're looking for, is equal to A1, the first term in the sequence, plus D, which is your common difference, and our common difference is 6, because there's 6 more chairs in each row, times N, the term number we're looking for, minus 1. So we want A30. That's what we're looking for. A1 is 50. The common difference is 6, and N minus 1 is 30. Take away 1. Okay, now that we have this information, we can find out how many chairs are in the final row. And that's just 50 plus 6 times 30. 6 times 29, because 30 minus 1 obviously is 29. So, in the 30th row, we have 50 plus, 6 times 20 is 120. 6 times 9 is 54. So 120 and 54 make 174. When we add the two numbers together, the last row in our arena has a total of 224 chairs. Okay? Well, that is an important piece of information. However, that's not the answer to this question. They need to know how many total seats, not just how many seats are in the last row. So, as I showed you on the spreadsheet today, if I go row 1, row 2, row 3, and go down, and I tell you how many seats there are in it, we can add all those numbers up. But that's going to take us a while. But if we pair them in row 30, so this is row, and we know there's 224. This is going to get a little messy, but I think we can handle it. In row 29, there's going to be 6 less, so that would be 218. If you add the 50 and 224, you get 274. If you add 56 and 218, you're still going to get 274. And I don't have the Excel spreadsheet up here, but if you ran that, you would see there's 15 rows going down. So you have 1 to 15 on this side, and then you have 30 through 16 down on this side. And if you add them, the two rows together that matched up, you would see 274 every time. Well, we can use that information to solve this with an equation. So I'm going to erase away this right now, and I'm going to show you the equation that we're going to use. Okay, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to change colors too, just so that you can see that we're using a different formula. So First of all, we talked about this symbol today. This is epsilon. It's a Greek letter, and in math we use epsilon to indicate summation or adding a bunch of numbers together. We always use n for the term, so we're going to be adding 30 terms. So we're going to start at term 1, we're going to end at term 30. Okay, the formula we're going to use is, as I showed you, if we added the number of seats in row 1 and the number of seats in row 30, we get 274. And if we did that along the whole way, row 2, row 29, row 3, row 28, we get 274 every time. So what it looks like is this. A1 plus A30. And then we're going to multiply that by n, which happens to be 30 in this case, divided by 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our numbers in here, and then we'll be able to figure out the answer. So A1, we said that in the first row, we know there's 50 chairs. In the second row, in the 30th row, we said there is, almost made a mistake there. Let's go ahead and erase that. I almost put 200. I was going to put the answer for the 2. I did it again. It's going to be 100. It was 224. I was right. So let me clean this up a little bit. Okay. And remember, our n is the number we're ending on, the term we're ending on. We're ending on the 30th term divided by 2. Okay. Well, we already know 50 and 224 equal 274. And 30 divided by 2 is 15. I really don't need to put that times button there, because when you have a number in a parentheses and a number right next to parentheses, that already means to multiply. So the last step is to multiply those two numbers. I'm just going to pull out my calculator, and I have 274 times 15, and that equals 4,110 seats. So that side of the arena has 1,110 seats. So there's really two parts to this problem. The first part is you have to find A30. You have to find that last row, how many chairs are in there, and use this explicit formula. Okay. Once you have that number, then you come over and use this formula right here, where you add A1 to A30, which is the last row, and then you multiply that by the number term. So we're the 30th term divided by 2. And when you do that math, you can find the final answer. Hope that helps you. Don't forget, we do have the summative for topic 1 tomorrow. Please study for it, and I will see you in class tomorrow.